Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for the Power Hour. Today we'll be hearing from Rupinder, who's going to be talking about digital GAG statements. This will be followed by a short presentation from Liz, who'll be talking about the new approach to communicating pupil premium allocations to Academy trusts. Liz is going to be asking for some specific feedback about this, and I will also be asking for your feedback about these sessions overall, as this is really essential to help us deliver these presentations on the topics that matter to you. This will be followed by a question and answer session. Please put your questions into the chat as we go along throughout the presentation. Upvote any questions that you specifically like, and our team behind the scenes will be trying to answer as many as possible as we go. So without further ado, I will hand over to Rupinder.
Hi everybody, my name is Rupinder Lotte and I'm a Senior Product Manager for one of the digital service delivery teams in the Education and Skills Funding Agency. Academies and trusts, as you know, currently receive their general annual grant allocation statements as PDF documents via document exchange. We've been working for some time now to convert these statements to a digital offering, and today I'm going to be telling you about our plans to go live with this digital service. I'm going to show you what the statements will look like, and I'll explain where and how you can access them. We'd very much welcome your feedback on the service, either today or as part of this session, or once you start accessing the statements within the service. And I'll say a bit more about how you do that within the service when I do the demo. Our initial release of the digital GAG statements are for statements for the 24-25 academic year for academies that were open as at March 2024. Future releases will cover statements for academies that opened between April and August 24, and those that will be opening between September 2024 and March 2025. Sorry, can you just go back to the previous slide? Sorry. Your feedback will inform decisions about these future releases and statements for other funding streams later on down the line, for example, 16 to 19 funding. Our aim is to move to digital statements fully for GAG for the 25-26 academic year. So that's when they're issued in February onwards. On the slide here, so release 1 is, as I said a few minutes ago, statements for 24-25 academic year for those academies that were open as of March 24. Then we've got future releases which have additional features. So for those that were for the statements that were issued in release 1, we're going to be adding the ability to download the raw allocations data as a CSV file, and also a comparison functionality so that you can compare one statement to a previous statement. And then release 3, as I said, is for the openers between April to August and September and March. And then, yeah, moving fully in February, March time. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is demo 2 things for you. So I'm going to demo how an individual academy user would log into the Manage Your Education and Skills Funding service to access their digital statement. So that's the service where the statements will be. Then I'm also going to demo a multi-academy trust user logging in to access the statements for all of their academies. So I'm going to turn my camera off in a minute because I'm going to be looking at another screen on the other side. So the demo, it's a recorded demo. So I'm going to play a video and then I'm going to talk over it live on this call. We're doing it this way so that we can keep to time and avoid any potential technical issues that might arise. I've only done a demo like this with a video once before. It went fine and it was successful and it was good feedback. But yeah, please bear with me. It's only the second time I've done it like this. So just please bear with me if it's not as slick as you might expect it to be. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera off now and share my screen. If somebody can let me know when they can see that.
Yep, we can see that now.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to play this demo and talk over it. I can pause it if need be, but hopefully I won't need to. So here we go. So this is the service, Manage Your Education Skills Funding, where you would log in to access the statements. You'll need a DFE sign-in account. Which I believe most academies and MATs already have a DFE sign-in account. So this is me signing in as an Academy user. Just might take a few seconds. I'm copying and pasting test accounts. This is in a test environment. That's just a test account, so it's just a pretend user. Put in the password and DFE sign-in. I'll say a bit more about accessing via DFE sign-in at the end. So I'm going to choose a fictitious organisation, Casterbridge College. It's not a real academy. It's not a real UK PRN. In reality, most users wouldn't see this many organisations. It's because it's a test user assigned to lots of organisations. So here you would click on allocation statements. So it says there are two statements, new and updated. So if I click there, the two are new and updated are for 19 plus allocation statements. Most academies wouldn't probably see this page because most academies do not have 19 plus funding, only pre-16. So if I click pre-16, then this is the page where you'd see allocation statements. There you've got the GAG statement and the amount of money. If you click that accordion button, you can see the blocks of funding within General Annual Grant, which should be familiar to people. And there's a link there to view the history. I'll show you that in a little bit later on. And then there's a link here to the General Annual Grant, as I'll say, GAG allocation guide. So the guidance about the allocation statements. And again, I'll show you a bit more about this as we go through the demo. So if I click on one of the blocks, school budget share, here, so this is the detailed statement. You can see at the top, that's the latest version of the funding for 24-25. You can save or print the statement at this point, rather. And that document there, that shows you everything that you can see on the screen. You can save it as a PDF or you can send it to print. And as you go through the statement here, you'll see there's links to guidance. And here you can see it's linking directly to the deprivation section of the guidance. So you don't have to root around and try and find guidance. Here, low prior attainment. It's going straight to the anchor point in the guidance page. And sparsity as well. And you can see there's links to guidance throughout all the sections. And there's a link here again at the bottom to the top of the guidance page if needed. Just going to click into the next block of funding, the minimum funding guarantee. And again, you can see guidance links throughout the document. Going to the, oops, going up and down a bit. Going to the relevant section. So guaranteed school budget share. And capping and scaling. And then the final block of funding, high needs block. Again, there's a guidance link here. So this is where you can access the history of the funding. So that takes you to this page. Here, there's only one version being published for this organisation, but here you would see previous versions, and you would link in them in there. You'd click the link, and you'd be able to see the previous versions. Older versions, so the PDF statements that we currently issue, they're available in Document Exchange, and there's a link there to Document Exchange as well. Feedback, I mentioned feedback, so there's a link at the top of every page. You'll see a link there to feedback, takes you to a feedback form. And yeah, we'd be really grateful if people could complete the feedback form once they start logging in and looking at these statements. It will really help us see if we've got this right and if there are any improvements we can make going forward. And that link is available on every page in that banner in the service. So I'm going to sign out now. That's an individual Academy user. And I'm going to sign in as a multi-Academy trust user. Yeah, sorry for the slowness there. I'm copying and pasting account details. So here again, this is a fictitious trust with a fictitious UKPRN. And here you can see it says 2 new statements. So this trust is only seeing the GAG statements. And although you can see 3 here, it says 2 because I've already looked at one and I haven't looked at the other 2. Hence it's showing you 2, and that number decreases as you go in and look at each one. So you can see how many you have looked at. And if I open this, you can see the design is exactly the same as the Academy would see, with the blocks of funding, the history, and the guidance link. And if I click on one of these, it's exactly the same. So I won't show you all of it again. It's just exactly the same as I showed you for an Academy. And then on the left-hand side here, we've got filters. So this is quite a small trust. So there's 3 academies, and you can filter by individual academy and by local authority. So if you want to see a group of academies together, or you want to see just the statements for the academies in a particular local authority area, you can do that. Yeah, this one only has one. It only has one in each local authority area, and then you can clear the filter. And there's feedback link again in the multi-academy trust view. You can choose whether you're a MAT or an academy when completing the form. So I'm going to sign out, and that's the demo done. So I'm going to stop sharing. I think I've got one more slide to cover. Thank you. So yeah, next steps. If you can go to the next slide, please. So key dates and actions. So we've been asking academies via a direct email to start accessing these digital GAG statements, and we're doing that in 4 stages. So this went live on the 23rd of September. So we asked 104. We wrote to 104 academies and 30 associated trusts to start signing up for the service with their DfE signing accounts, and start looking at the statements. And then we wrote to 500 academies on the 2nd of October, yesterday, I believe. And then we're going with 3,000 on the 11th, and then everybody else from the 23rd. So these statements, they're actually live for everybody, but we're writing out in smaller stages just to ramp up the numbers, just to test the performance of the system and the load on the system. Obviously, there's 10,000-ish academies altogether. So we didn't want to bring that many in all at once on day one on the 23rd of September. So we're just monitoring the system, making sure it can cope with the numbers. So that's the plan, the release plan, if you like. And then, as I said, to access the statements, you'll need to have a DFE sign-in account, which I believe most academies and trusts already have because they use DFE sign-in for lots of other DFE services. And you need to request to add the Manage Your Education Skills funding service to your DSI account, and then add the View Allocation Statements MyESF sub-service once you've added the service. So that's the key, the role, if you like, view allocation statements that you'll need to be able to then access your statements. That's it from me, I think. I think I'm handing over to Liz. Liz.
Thank you. Thanks, Rupinder. Hi, I'm Liz Cook, and I lead on the Pre-16 funding communications in ESFA. Can I have the next slide, please? I just wanted to talk a little bit today about some work we've been doing to improve the pupil premium allocations information that we are supplying to Academy trusts. As you'll know, we publish pupil premium allocations on gov.uk every quarter in advance of the quarterly payments. And of course, because of data protection regulations, these published allocations only include the FSM 6 elements, and other elements such as previous looked after children and service children are suppressed, and we signpost trusts to get information about pupils, to extract the data and calculate those elements of the allocation. We know from your inquiries and stakeholder feedback that we've had that this creates lots of questions about your pupil allocation, and it also creates extra work for trusts as well. Made a start in September this year. We're trialling the upload of unsuppressed pupil premiums allocations to our secure portal document exchange. And the first upload was done on the 24th of September, and that was for the Q2 update. And we'll be making further uploads for the Q3 and the Q4 payment too. Next slide, please. We are uploading the statements into trust folders. And so this will be your multi-academy trust folder on Document Exchange, or it will be your single academy trust folder on Document Exchange. So this means you do need to log in using your Trust UK PRN. We have had a number of inquiries about the use of the trust folder for single academy trusts, and that is something that we are going to look into for the Q3 upload. We're sort of getting through those inquiries at the moment and see what we best can do. And I've just shown you on the screen there the screenshot of what it would look like if you were logging into your trust folder on Document Exchange, and you can see there that there's a new pupil premium allocation for Q2 available there. Can I have the next slide, please? I'm really hoping that this is a welcome improvement for trusts, but we are really keen to get your feedback about this, about the information we're sharing. I've popped our funding communications mailbox on that slide, and if you want to feedback, that would be most appreciated. And we will take all the feedback from that and also from today to have a look at how we iterate things for our Q3 allocations. I just wanted to say that we're always wanting to improve the way that we're communicating allocations to you as you can see from the digital GAG statements. So if you would like to get engaged in further user research on this area, please do also let us know. And I'll just I'll just leave that slide up for 2 seconds so that people can note down the mailbox. Thank you. And I think that that is me done as well. So I shall hand over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liz, and thank you, Rupinder. Great presentations there, really valuable information for our Academy colleagues in the sector. So Liz has asked for some feedback. I'd also like to ask for your feedback, please. This is really important to us, and it helps you to design these sessions to deliver the topics that you would find useful to hear about, to know more about. So I'll just leave that on the screen while you get your mobile devices, or if one of my colleagues could perhaps just pop the link into the chat, and then if you would rather complete it that way, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much. As I say, we really, really appreciate your feedback. Just about to hand over now for some question and answers to our colleagues. And yeah, I think we've got Rupinder coming back to answer some of the questions in the chat.
Hi, yeah, I've answered a couple already. Is this live now for 24-25? If so, where in document exchange? So yeah, it's live now. So even if you might not have been in those one of those first emails out asking you to sign up and start logging in, you can actually still set up your DFE signing account. As I explained on the slide, it shows on one of those slides the instructions there. So you can see them now. So it's not in document exchange, it's in Manager Education and Skills Funding. So the service that I demoed. And there's a link on the slide. I think the slides are going out afterwards. So it's hyperlinked. There's a hyperlink to the site, the service. So you can use that. Would latest statements highlight any difference from the previous ones? Yeah, in a later release, we're looking to implement a comparison functionality. So you can compare either against the previous statement in that current year or against the final statement of the previous year. Obviously, when we start, there'll only be 1 year's worth of data and 1 year's worth of information. But over time, then obviously you can compare against the final one from the previous year as well. So there'll be icons, gives you an arrow, an up arrow or a down arrow on the figure, and it will show you the difference as well, the value. Mr. Beginning, is this already live or going live? I think I answered that. It is live for everybody, although we're writing out to people in smaller batches, but it is live for everybody, and the dates are on one of the slides as to when we're writing out to people. But by the end of October, we'll have hopefully written out to everyone, and everyone should have had the instructions to log in. Is this available as a CSV? Not yet, but we are in a later release. We're planning to add CSV. Yeah, a bit similar to one of those earlier questions. At the moment, it's just the CSV at individual academy level. So it'd be interesting to hear if that would be useful at trust level as well, actually. So if anyone's got any views on that, yeah, happy to hear that. Anthony, please may I suggest that every page automatically contains a print page button. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Would like down, yeah. Not 100% sure what that means. If we can get some more detail on that would be useful. Sorry, I don't know how we do that, Pam.
Hi, Anthony. We can pop the general customer portal help email contact details into the chat, so we can help with that. Can see some of the questions in the chat. I'm not quite sure whether they're for Liz on Pupil Premium or whether they're for you, Rupinder. But just on this one, someone's asking, I've sent a number of queries as we were told the information is available, but I cannot see it. I have still not heard back. Ms. Gill, does that sound like one that might be for you, Liz, or are you not quite sure? If not, we can ask Ms. Gill to give us some more specific
That may well be for
information.
me. And if she'd like to supply her school name and
Okay.
UKPRN, then I can look into that for you.
Brilliant. That's lovely. Thanks, Liz.
I think there was another one as well on Pupil Premium suggesting that they hadn't been able to see their statement. Again, if you could let me know which school it is or which trust it is, then I can check that out for them.
Brill, thank you. Was that the one? Is the Q2 Pupil Premium statement supposed to be on the Doc Exchange now?
Yes.
Not showing in ours. Brill, thank you. Can't see any more for Liz. Just having a look to see, we've got some new questions coming in. I can see the MYESF against one of our schools and have added it, but it's not an option to add at trust level. Any takers for that one?
Can you say that again, Pam?
I can see the MY, so it's my ESF against one of our schools and have added it, but it's not an option to add at trust level.
In DFE sign-in, presumably that means, it sounds like. You should be able to, if you've got a DFE sign-in account at trust level, you should be able to add the My ESF service. That doesn't sound right to me. If you can add it at Academy level login, you should be able to add it at trust level login as well. I'd raise a query with the DFE sign-in team for that.
Brilliant, thank you.
DFE sign-in, I think.
Thanks. I'll just pop the, I'm sure my colleagues have probably already done it, but I'll just pop it in there again. The contact details. Okay, thank you. Right, let's have a look and see what else. As a large trust, we do comparison of funding across our schools. Will there be functionality to do this?
Can you say that again, Pam? Sorry.
As a large trust, we do comparison of funding across our schools. Will there be the functionality to do this?
Not for all funding. You'll be able to, I mentioned the comparison feature for the GAG statement. So you'll be able to compare your latest allocation statement with the last one in the current year and also the final one of the previous year, obviously once we get into year 2 of this. But yeah, at the moment there's no plans to compare all funding. We are looking to obviously start adding other fund statements, other allocation statements for other funding streams into the service. So you'd see your GAG. So in that list where you saw, in that page where you saw the the GAG at the top level, then we're looking to add different funding streams underneath there. So you'd have your GAG, your 16 to 19 funding, pupil premium, etc. But at the moment, there's no plans to show the comparison of all your funding.
Thanks, Rupinder. I think this might be one for you, Liz. The service is saying, please try again later, and I cannot see any pupil premium information against our schools. That's from Joe.
Again, if you can let us know your particular school or trust, and I can have a look into that for
Brilliant.
folk.
Thanks, Joe. So yeah, pop the email address to contact if you can reply with your details. Can look into that for you. Thank you. Okay. I think we might have some new questions coming in. Just having a look to see any that we've not answered so far. Someone's asking, no, you may have already answered this, so apologies if you have, Rupinder. Can we view remittances on our online account rather than relying on email remittances?
Not at the moment, but that is one of the things we're looking at in the future, to be able to log into the MyESF service, what I just demoed, to be able to log in there, see your allocation statements, but also see your payments. We are, and the service is quite old, and it was first set up in the old skills funding agency days. So any academy that has got 19 plus funding, you can see remittances there, because that was available back then. But the plan is now, this is the first time we're looking to get academies in en masse to look at pre-16 information, funding information. So the plan is to roll out remittance information in MyESF as well in future. Can't give you a timeline as yet, but that's definitely the vision and the plan.
Lovely, thanks, Rupinder. Question here from Dee. What plans are there for trust/schools to be able to access a single source to see all DFE/ESFA funding allocations for their trust?
Yeah, so this is the aim, that the MyESF service to be the single place where you can see all your statements. So as I said earlier, where you saw that page where you've got the, after you click the tile, allocation statements tile, there's a page that lists the GAG funding at the top level. The idea is that under, in that list, you would see your GAG funding, your 16 to 19, if you've got it, your pupil premium, universal infant free school meals, etc., in that list, and then you'd be able to then see the detailed statements for each. So that is the plan.
Lovely, thank you. Right, let's have a look here. This one's from Philip. Hi, I'm in the portal. We're a special school that's part of a MAT. Whilst I've no problem getting in, there's no data there. Not sure who that's for, Rupinder or Liz. Perhaps we need some more details.
I think we need to know if it's, is it about the GAG or the pupil premium? We need to know that first.
Okay, Philip, so if you could just clarify that and send your inquiry into our customer help portal, that'd be great. Thank you. I don't think we may be coming to the, perhaps for Liz. Question for Liz, will the statement uploads on the portal follow the same timeline as the allocation uploads on your website?
Yes, they will do. We'll publish the suppress allocations on gov.uk each quarter, and we normally do that just before each quarterly payment, and we will be doing the uploads to the document exchange at the same time of the unsuppressed allocations.
Fantastic. Thanks, Liz. And some feedback here from Alistair. Hi, re-GAG. I have just added the service and it appeared instantly and our statements are there too. So good to get some positive feedback there from Alistair. Thank you, Alistair. Let's just see if there's any more new questions. Someone says trust level would be helpful. That's from Claire. I'm not quite sure whether that's pupil premium or GAG. I think that may be us coming to the end. Oh, one more here, just time for one more. Does this mean that all GAG statements will come out at the same time rather than the staggered release we currently have? That's from D for Rupinder.
Might need Matt to answer that one actually.
Can you hear me? I've just posted a response to that one, but yeah, currently the plan is to still release them in the same staggered approach as we receive batches of data through the APT process from the LAs in batches, and we'd rather get them out there as soon as they're quality assured and ready rather than wait till they're all ready. So that's the plan currently.
Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of our Q&A session. And again, I'd just like to say a huge thanks to our presenters for the presentations today, really helpful information, and thanks to all of you for attending. And just to let you know what's coming up next, we've got a second event in October. That's on the 17th, and that's around the Land and Buildings Collection Tool. And finally, on the 21st of November, we have our National Academy Finance Professionals Conference. So look forward to seeing you all again next time, and thank you very much for your time today. Thanks all.